Yes, people, welcome back to GNA TV and Chelsea Fan TV for the UEFA Champions League build-up to Dortmund versus Chelsea. We are back. We are here to smash it. We're going to talk about that game today. We're going to do match predictions, obviously. We're going to do predicted team lineups. We're going to talk a little bit of gossip in and around Chelsea prior to this first. So we're going to get into that, and then we'll jump into the Dortmund game. We're going to have the panel coming in, as always, to discuss the team lineup, team news. You guys can get involved in the chat as well. You can also offer super chats into the channel as well if you guys want to, as we go through the team predictions. But do me a favor, guys, as always, please smash the likes, subscribe to both channels on your way through. Nearly 100 of you guys in the chat already. So big up to every single one of you guys that are already in here. Big game tonight. Forgetting what's happened in the Premier League with Chelsea at the moment. The cup competitions are always different. Is Graham Potter going to set Chelsea Football Club, or so I say, Chelsea, the Chelsea squad set up in the right way today? Are we going to see tactics? Are we going to see game plan? Are we going to see a style of play? Are we going to get all of that today? Cup competitions. I'm interested to see what happens. I'm interested to get your thoughts and opinions in the chat as well. So make sure that you guys are getting involved as well. And as always, before we move forward, let's cue that intro. Yes, people, welcome back to GNA TV and Chelsea Fan TV. Hope you guys are well wherever it is that you are across the world. And we are back to discuss the big game tonight. Dortmund, Borrusia Dortmund versus Chelsea. And it's, I'm quite buzzing. I'm quite, a little bit nervous because obviously I think it's heavily dependent on how Graham Potter sets us up tonight. I think we need to be tactically spot on. The pressure's on Potter for me. The pressure's on him because he needs to get this right. You know, it's completely different to Premier League football, the Champions League. You're playing against clubs, obviously, that are not playing in the Premier League, playing in their own competitions in their own countries. But the football level was completely different. However, what we cannot look past in all of this is the performance levels of Dortmund at the moment and where they stand in the league. Because like in famous CFC has just said here, at home currently at the moment, they have not lost a game since November. So there you go, guys. There's a big challenge ahead for us against a team in transition, a team still trying to find its chemistry, a team still trying to work its way out, especially moving forward, you know, in the way that we want to play. You know, there's a lot that still needs to be worked out at Chelsea. And they're playing against a Dortmund team that is organised, that understands their roles, that is confident, that is winning games. You know, it's going to be a huge challenge, but we can do it. We can do it. We are Chelsea Football Club. Yeah, we are Chelsea Football Club. And when it comes to Champions League football, we've seen it already, under Graham Potter specifically, we can put performances against the bigger teams, should we say, or big teams, should I say? Not bigger than us, but, big teams. So let's see what happens, man. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be exciting. I'm buzzing. I should really be there, to be honest. I was meant to be going to this game away. I can't because I'm going away next week myself. So that's why I'm here, and that's why I'm streaming with you guys. So nearly 200 of you guys in here already. Let's see what everyone's saying tonight, and talk to people in the chat. Leah, big up to you. Proud Geordie, nice to see you. Mark, nice to see you. Lawrence, nice to see you. We've got Infamous in here as well. He says, Kukurea to Dortmund, here we go. He wants him out. Vic is in the house as always. Big up to my guy, Vic. Nice to see you. Chelsea Blue, Briary, Dill CFC, big up Gemnisco. Want to win tonight, run up them likes. And let's do what Dill said, guys, because there's over 200 people. And I know for sure we ain't got enough likes right now. So let's get them likes up. Let's see how quickly we can get to 100 likes, please. I hope we win as well as a bit. I really do. Big up to Chelsea Blue as well. Big Ron in the house. It says, good afternoon to everyone. Good afternoon to you, my brother. Big up to Vinny. It says, big up, Jim. Hope you're well. Up the Chelsea. Yes, up to you. Chilwell and Reece start. We win. Look, Reece James 100% starts tonight. The fact that Ben Chilwell this morning was in the sort of the tweet on Chelsea FC, the image in the background, makes you think, could he start tonight? Is he ready to start a game? I hope so. I really do. I hope so. Jem, Give me some energy. What was my man had for lunch? Give me some of that, mate. I've got some. I've just literally finished training, so I'm quite alive. But at the same time, I'm quite tired, to be honest, as well. So yeah, big up to you, big Ron. Andreas, big up to you. Gav as well. Who else we got here? Peter in the building. He says we will win 2-0. Big up to Peter in the house. Kane, nice to see you as well. Sterling, right wing. Kai Havertz, 9. Mudryk, left wing. Felix, 10. Enzo, right, centre, left. Chilwell, Koulibaly, Silva. Good, interesting. We're going to get into that predicted team lineup later on in the show. So save your predictions because I want to know what they are and we'll go through them in the chat. Big up to Tobbs as well. We've got Surfs, Louis Quinn, Andre. Sam is in the building. Big up to her. She says, Jem, do you seriously think we have a chance tonight? Yeah, I do. But it's gonna be a couple of factors to us actually getting this done. 1, tactically getting it right. 2, making sure we play the correct team lineup. Make sure that we play players in their positions. Do not play players out of their positions. I'm closing my eyes when I say this because when I'm doing this, I'm praying at the same time. I'm sending this to Graham Potter in Dortmund. Do not play people out of position. Do not do anything. Try and be smart. No. Just play players in their position. Get it right tactically. Come on, I'm just send the waves, guys. send the full processes over to him. Cyril, big up to you as well. Anna, nice to see you as well. Big up to John Anderson in the house as well. Dale gets footies in the house as well as everyone. Everyone's here, man. Big up to everyone. Cyril as well. What do you think we would be left back? I think it's going to be Chilwell tonight. I do. Big up to CFC Peslord. Big up to you. K. Sean's in the building as well. Nice to see you. Fed up with the recent draws, but I take a 1-1. He wants to take another draw. We'll do predicted lineups later in the show as well. Right. Let's before we get into Dortmund, we're just going to quickly go over some little bits that have popped up today, right? Things worth discussing, shall I say. In the meantime, guys, while you're sitting there chilling, make sure you're hitting the likes. Nearly 200 people on Chelsea Fan TV already, so big up to every single one of you guys. GNA TV, we've got 60 people in there as well. Big up to you as well. So let's get this up. Let's just start going through things. We've got the panel coming in a bit later. We're going to do the predicted lineups together, which always makes it interesting, doesn't it? Because everyone has different points of view. So let's see what happens there. So this news in and around Pierre Emerick Aubameyang keeps popping up little dribs and drabs of recent. And we're hearing that Chelsea owners were less than enthusiastic about the signing of Aubameyang in the first place. It did not fit the profile, age, or salary expectations, and there was a fear that bringing him in would represent one gift to many for Tuchel. So basically, and that's via The Athletic, the signing of Aubameyang, as we already know as Chelsea fans, was a Tuchel signing. Like, there is no reason why he should actually have been at Chelsea other than that obviously the owners tried to back Tuchel and give him what he wants. That didn't really last long, did it? And now he's been cut out of the Champions League team. You know, you can't even get in a team that Ziyech and Pulisic are currently injured in, which, again, you'd think you'd have more chance of getting into, but he's not been given that chance. You know, he doesn't seem to be a part of our plans or ideas. Or I think, to be honest, that Aubameyang has done something in behind the scenes. I really do. I really think he's pissed off Graham Potter. He's done something. It might be that he's not because he's not been played. It might be the level of respect. It might be what we'd seen at Arsenal with Aubameyang, where he made a big problem or big scenes of things, which then forced them not to play him. I don't know, but you know, the fact that we have a striker and we're not using him, and we're actually willing to play our first 11 without a striker. Is interesting. I was just reading something that Piers put up just now, which is quite interesting. We'll read that in a second. Sorry, when I go quiet, it's because I'm actually reading something. Yeah, it's because I'm actually reading something. But yeah, does it really bother you guys that he's not around, that he's not available, that Aubameyang's not in the team? Everybody pissed off everyone. I think the same, Heiko, of mine. Big up to RD as well. We want to see all about X-Fids. I don't think it's going to happen, mate. You know, obviously we know it's not going to happen now because he's not in the Champions League. But even in the Premier League, I don't think he wants to play. Why back Tuchel so much then? This is the thing, isn't it? Why bring players in to back the manager, but then after a couple of games get rid of him? I don't really want to go back into that vicious cycle about talking about Thomas Tuchel. But now we're stuck with a player that's obviously unhappy, which is obviously unsettled, which may be disrupting the new squad, the young players that are coming in, the new players that are coming in as well. And now it's just like, it's just a headache. You know, it's just like, what we're going to do with him. Obviously, he'll go in the summer, don't get me wrong. But while he's here, surely you utilise him to a degree. You know, utilise him, whether it's for half an hour or 20 minutes, or he has to start a game, or we have no Bro as it is. Havertz then gets injured. Who are we going to go to then? We're going to play Sterling up front? You've got a striker there. You know, so I've never been a Aubameyang's biggest fan. I told you guys in the summer window that I am sitting on the fence with this guy. I'm not really sure about how he fits Chelsea. You could probably argue he hasn't had as many chances, but even when he has played, he hasn't really given me that feel. You know, it's not someone that I look at and think, yeah, you know. So, but however, if he is a part of the team and he is available, then you should use him. But I agree. If he's being the clown and he's causing friction and he's making a headache in the dressing rooms about things, then there's no point of having him in the squad anyway. So, yeah, I get that. I mean, there you go. There's Aubameyang. No more new news on that. But what is really interesting news is the news that we heard from Matt Law. And I know Matt Law himself hasn't been spot on when it comes to takes of recent. But he seems to think that Chelsea are not giving up on Jude Bellingham, despite recognising signing him from very tough. Despite recognising signing him will be very tough, and they are now by no means favourites. So we've not given up on Bellingham. We're apparently very interested in the idea. Apparently we've liked him for a very long time since the World Cup when Todd Boehly and Ighbali were out there. We've got Enzo Fernandez. We're now looking at a profile of Jude Bellingham, supposedly. We may be up against it with the likes of Real Madrid and whoever else that may be interested in for him. But Chelsea are going to go, by the looks of it, to try and sign the player. Now, I'm not going to take Matt Law's words to gospel, to be honest. You know, I'm not 100% sure how true it is, you know, but it hasn't disappeared. It hasn't disappeared. It'd just be interesting to see if Liverpool actually get new owners. This talks about Spurs getting a buyout of new owners. Man City, you know, with all the trouble they're in, where's that going to leave them? Is that going to pull them away from actually being able to sign players? Could they get a transfer ban? Could happen later on once we find out what happens after the courts come back. Man United, growing strong, good manager, looking to sell, trying to find owners to buy them. We know Jim Ratcliffe's in there. We know that there's a Qatari investor trying to buy them. You know, there's a number of things. The most interesting thing of all of this, and I don't know if you've noticed, it's very interesting because, again, and I keep saying this, I think Chelsea Football Club are setting a trend in the Premier League. You know how we set the trend of Roman Abramovich coming in with all these billions of pounds and buying players, and, you know, we went on winning things, and people used to go, oh, you bought the league, you bought this, that, and the other. I think we're going through a same trend again, but through the consortium way. I think they've looked at what Chelsea are doing. I think they've looked at what we spent. I think they've also looked at the financial power that we currently have as well. And now you're starting to hear owners willingly, like the Glazers, the potentials of Levy's, looking to sell these clubs on. But not only to just one man band business owner, to consortiums with lots of monies, with companies that are set up or entities set up across the world that are making billions that they can use to fund the club. Yeah. 1, 2, 3 of them. It seems like we're forever setting the trends, guys. Is what I'm saying. Chelsea Football Club setting the trends, as always, you know. So it's interesting to see what Tottenham do, Liverpool do, Man United do. Will they sell out to consortiums, bring in their own consortiums, have money, make it very challenging in the transfer window when you have all these consortiums competing for the likes of someone like Jude Bellingham? That's going to be the intriguing thing. But the most intriguing thing of this all, on top of all of this, is how Todd Boehly and Ighbali have moved as a consortium. Because it isn't just like the Glazers where they've just come and they've sat back and gone, here's your money, I don't give a shit, just buy players. Don't worry about it. Yeah, they're actually heavily involved in everything that we do, or what goes on at this football club. Heavily involved in what we do. They're flying out, they're meeting, making relationships, they're meeting these agents, they're meeting the owners, they're meeting sporting directors. They're very on point. I'm not saying every consortium is going to be the same, but maybe other football clubs have looked at Chelsea and how we've moved and what we've done up to this point and gone, maybe that is the way forward. Maybe that's the way we're going to grow revenue. Maybe what Chelsea are doing right now, where they're spending all this money, is the quickest way, again, to maybe become successful. We've still got to see it ourselves. Don't get me wrong. We're still waiting to see if this is the case. But it's very interesting, very, very interesting stuff. Guys, over 400 of you here. Big up to every single one of you guys. But only 40 likes on GNA TV and 74 likes on Chelsea Fan TV. There's over 300 people on Chelsea Fan TV and over 100 people on GNA TV. Come on, guys. Let's get this over. This should easily be over 100 likes. Are you guys in the chat interested in Jude Bellingham to Chelsea? This is the question, right? Do we really need him? And I had this conversation yesterday, right? My biggest question mark with Jude Bellingham is, how does he fit Chelsea? How do we get the best out of him in what we're currently doing? Now, it looks like we want to play a 4-2-3-1. So if we're going to play a 4-2-3-1 and we've already got Enzo Fernandez, where does Jude Bellingham play? Because when I look at him, I don't look at him as a 6, and I don't look at him being able to play in that system. You can maybe play him a little bit further forward as a 3. But the only way that Jude Bellingham works at Chelsea is if you play a 4-3-3. But then you don't need these many forwards. Then you don't need to have these forwards, these number of forwards that we have. We don't need to have, Pulisic, Ziyech going. But, you've got Mudryk, you've got Madueke, you've got Sterling, you've got João Felix, you've got Havertz, you've got Mount. You don't need all of these forwards then, because the 4-3-3, in my opinion, will have one sitter, Jude Bellingham, Enzo Fernandez, and then the 3 up front, Mudryk, whoever the striker is. It kind of eliminates a lot of what I would expect our squad, our system and our squad to look like. And then, do you get what I mean? It becomes a bit of an issue. How do we fit Bellingham and Enzo in the same team? They can't play as the 6s. People then say, well, Enzo will sit back. I don't want to see Enzo sitting back. We saw it against West Ham. When he's further up the pitch, when he can be effective, he can use this. And that is what we need. We need that creative, spark further up the pitch. You can do it from deep. We know he can. But you're literally limiting his game. Jude Bellingham's great as an 8, but he is an 8. And he isn't a 6 for me. So I just don't know. Well, this is the thing, Sam. I don't think we're going to get him anyway, to be honest. But I'm trying to analyse how you fit him in, Nkunku in, João Felix in, Mudryk in, Madueke, and then you've got maybe others that may still be there. Mason Mount, if Conor Gallagher's there, Ruben Loftus-Cheek, Havertz, do you get what I mean? And then this talks about us getting a striker. So it's like, yeah, it's a very pumped up squad, but how does it work? How does it tick? How do we then set up system wise? Not for me, Couch. Not for me, mate. I've watched him. Watched enough of him to know that he's better being free in the 8, pressing, intercepting, and in a 6 role, yeah, he can do that. But then he's going to have players in front of him that are going to be further forward of him, and he can join that attack. But then who's your main person hanging back? Because the person that's playing with him won't be able to go forward because he's going to be doing that too much. That's what an 8 does, and he is a natural 8 for me. And then you've got Enzo Fernandez, who could just sit and clean up, but he's not really the sitting guy that you want. You don't want to spend 110 million on Enzo Fernandez just to sit. That just don't make sense. Big up to Santiago as well. 3-0 we've got here. We're going to talk about Dortmund very soon in Chelsea. RD says cover over Jude is what he thinks as well. Would you sell cover for Jude? Again, I think Cover is better equipped to play in the 6 than Jude Bellingham. But then it goes to say, how do you fit Jude Bellingham in if you sell Cover for him? Because he's not a 6, especially not in the Premier League in the way that we're going to do things. No. You want Enzo Fernandez to be the further one to excel forward, so he can control, dictate, create. The forwards will know that when Enzo gets the ball, they can make runs. They're confident it's going to come in, and he's further up the pitch to support that. You want him being able to have that freedom to do that. Then you want someone next to him that's going to maybe be a little bit more reserved, but or maybe complements him. Do you know what I mean? You can't have Jude Bellingham holding while Enzo's running forward. Do you get what I mean? Like signing Messi, etc., doesn't make a part a better tactician as well. What a weird question this is. I wouldn't even answer it. Yeah, but he's more equipped than Jude Bellingham, in my opinion. Recover's played in a double pivot for ages. We say he's not it, but that's how he plays. That's where he plays. Like, I don't get it. Jude Bellingham they just don't work. I don't think we're going to get him anyway. I'll be honest with you. I'm not even going to bother sitting here talking about it too much. Obviously, Matt Law, like I said, it's not been fully on it. But let's go on to the Dortmund game, because that is the game tonight, right? I knew that would trigger some people. No. Jakari could be, but again, I'm still 100% not sure in him being the one that can hold and sit in front of the defence. That's the one thing I'm just not 100% sure. There is more than one way to play in the midfield. I get that. But if we're playing a 4-2-3-1, you want players that can kind of complement each other. I think Bellingham's game is more of an offensive midfielder than he is a defensive. As with Enzo, I think he has the all-round ability, but you want to see him further up the pitch, which tells me you want to have someone next to him that can maybe just be someone that can hold back a bit. You know, or offer something different. And I'm talking about from maybe being a little bit more on the ball, like an interceptor. You know, comfortable on the ball, can move the ball progressively. We still need all that, but someone that can maybe break play, understand and hold, and, you know, maybe. But yeah, maybe it could work. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm not sure, you know, but I'm just going on what I've seen and how I feel it would work. But you guys are talking about OnlyFans in the chat now. Blimmin' out. Guys, nearly 500 of you guys here. We're going to do the team lineup, predicted team lineup with the panel soon. So make sure that you guys stay tuned for that one. And then I will, once we've done the predicted team lineup, I'll put the link in the chat and you viewers can get yourselves involved and have your say. But it is a big day for Chelsea because we can kind of take our break from thinking about Premier League because it is Champions League time. And we have Ben Chilwell, Enzo Fernandez, Reece James, and João Felix in the images. Is that a telling sign? Would they bring out these images without a player starting? I think all four of them start tonight. And we're going to talk about the team lineup soon. It's a big game because it's a game that we can't really think back on history on. We can't really sit there and go, we've seen this. We know how, you know, we've never seen Chelsea play Dortmund ever. Ever. It's never happened. Chelsea have never played Dortmund in a competition, in a major competition like this. This is going to be the first time. So first time for everything, you know. Joe Cole himself is talking about Chelsea and their chances in the Champions League. And he's brought out some comments here. Some of the comments that have come out is this. Joe Cole thinks if they gel, this Chelsea could be unrecognisable in 6 weeks' time. In the league and in the Champions League. Wait and see how this Chelsea project plays out, but it's exciting. Now, look, what he's saying is not right there, right? That could all play out quite nicely, and it could happen because we do have quality. Chemistry will get better. The more times they play together, more times they train together, right? They're going to start making runs pathologically, knowing that they're going to get the balls. You know, maybe the build-up of play better. Then maybe we start seeing the Potter style. And that's the big question of it all. It's not that they can't gel, because, all right, time after time, they should be able to do that because we've got top quality players in there now, young top quality players. But it's about Graham Potter. It's about the manager. It's about how he sets us up. It's about how we approach games. It's about the game plan. It's about the style. It's about the style of football that we're going to utilize going into the game. You know, that's on the manager. And we had a Graham Potter discussion yesterday about what I expect to see from him. Yeah. And in 6 weeks' time, I already said about this, right? I already said, I need to start seeing something. I need to see him make sure that we control games more, not just for 20 minutes. I want to see us building up play and being attacking more consistently. I want to see our style. I want to see what it is that we're trying to do as we go on. And Joe Cole's right. It could blossom. It could take off. We could start seeing the Potter style. We could start winning games. You could see a completely different Chelsea to what we've seen the last couple of months. And I hope we do. Because if we do, then we benefit, right? So at the end of the day, it's going to be really interesting to see. It's going to be really interesting to see how Potter deals with this. In my opinion, it's more on Potter and setup and keeping players fit and not losing players which is going to be the key. If we keep playing Havertz up front, got no choice, mate. We got to play Fofana. We can't just keep playing Fofana up front. Like, it's not going to happen. He's just not going to do it. Not going to do it, in my opinion. In Potter, we trust. That's life, but we have to. We got no choice. We're gonna see. We're gonna see, guys. We're gonna see really what Potter can do with this team, right? And then he goes on from Joe Cole to saying this, which is quite an interesting comment. He goes on saying this, which come out earlier, which is what I was reading. So, comment from not Joe Cole, sorry, from Kai Havertz that basically says this: "We're here to win titles, and that goes for every year. A season like this isn't easy for us at all. We will now focus on the Champions League because we know we're a tournament team, and that's where we're able to achieve great things this season." So, some fans, let's look at the response of the fans. I want to know what they say. Bro says we're like he's going to be in next season. People just tournament team. We need to tournament. It would. If only we didn't get City in the start of both cups. Kai is going to cook today. It's Havertz. It's Havertz. At least the players are confident and they know that they're going to win the chat. Look, I don't think he's too wrong for saying what he said. We haven't been a domestic league squad for a while. When's the last time we won a league? All right, we've been top four, but we've not really consistently or even pushed close to challenging for a title. History would agree with what Havertz has just said there. And I think he's right. When you look at where we are currently right now, and he's talking specifically now because he says, we will now focus on the Champions League because we know we're a tournament team and that we're able to achieve great things. He's basically saying we have the quality to do well in the tournament because cup games, one-off games, right? I get that. But domestically, the consistency, the sustainability that you need in the Premier League is something we're just not ready for yet. Or we're not there yet, right? So, again, I don't really think he's really lying too much. I'll be honest with you. I think he's talking a lot of sense, guys. Whether you like it or not, that's life. That's life, Jim. That's life. It's mad, isn't it? But yeah, there's Kai Havertz's comments to where he thinks Chelsea are as well. And we go back to a Joe Cole comment, and then we're going to drop the link into the panel and get them in, and we'll start doing this quick lineup. So this is another comment from Joe Cole. This is what he says. He says that he feels that if I think Chelsea are one of the 10 or 11 teams that can win the Champions League. Cut football, you have to do it on the night. Chelsea have players who can do it on the night against anyone. The Champions League becomes like a respite because nobody's expecting Chelsea to win it. He's right again. I don't think there's an out-and-out real favourite in the Champions League. I mean, Bayern Munich look probably very, a little bit above everyone else. Quite a lot above Chelsea, obviously, but a little above everyone else. But when you think about this tournament and what we've seen in the past, it's not like it used to be when Barcelona were dominating or Real Madrid were dominating, where they win it back to it. It's not that. It is quite open in terms of winning, and it is knockout football. It is based on the day, how you set up tactically, how you go into games, etc. So, of course, we've got a chance. Of course, we have. Do we think we'll win it? No. But did we think we'll win it back under Thomas Tuchel when we went on that amazing run against Real Madrid, against Porto, against Man City? Did we think we were going to win it then? No. So let's see. And this is why I'm a little bit excited. I'm excited to see what Chelsea turn up tonight and how we set up. Because it's not Premier League football. It's completely different. And it's going to be a clash of a German-based team and their style of football against an English-based team and our style of football. And that's the key here. And that's why I agree with what Joe Cole's saying. Any team's got a chance on the day. Any team has got a chance on the day. It's going to be an interesting fun. Now, let's listen to Graham Potter's quick comments on here as well. Would be so Chelsea to go? It would. It would. Let's listen to Graham Potter's comments now. I can play this because there's no tag at the top. So we're all right. Let me just mute myself. Let's watch this quickly.
You don't get angry enough as well about, I mean, particularly the handball at West Ham. And some quite senior ex-footballers were saying that you should have got angry about it. Firstly, I just wonder what your take is on that. And secondly, more interesting, and just what does make you angry then? What's made you angry in the past year or so? Is there anything make you angry?
Apart from these questions, I would say, well, I'm careful not to get into discussion with the media through the media. Of course, I get angry. I'm a human being, just like you. It's just that I choose to conduct myself the way that I think is the right way to conduct myself on the side. I think the same media are talking about me being more angry and then running stories about problems with referees at grassroots football. I don't see the connection. That's not to say that we don't all lose our temper, because we do, because it's an emotional thing. But at the same time, I think I have a responsibility to myself, to Chelsea, and to the game to act in the way that I think is the right thing for me, not for anybody else, but for me. If you think that you can start a coaching career in the 9th tier of English football, in the Northern Counties, not the Prem, the Northern Counties Division 1, and get to this point now as in the Chelsea Champions League without getting angry or being nice, then I would suggest you don't know anything about anything.
Wow. Well, we wanted a bit of a response from Potter. People complained about him not being someone that's very energetic, very out there. And there you go. You know, he seems to have had enough of some of the questions that he's getting from the media. And I think they're kind of pushing his buttons a bit, I'll be honest with you. It's like they're feeling what the fans are saying. They're hearing the fans saying, well, we don't care about this. You know, this, he doesn't sound like he's bothered. And I think that he's maybe felt reactive to the energy that he's got from him, you know, and, you know, good answer to him. Good on him. Step up for yourself. Stick up for yourself. He should do. He's a human being at the end of the day. It's not like he's a robot, like he keeps saying, that's just always going to just ignore things and have no feelings. Of course he's got feelings. You know what I mean? Of course he's got feelings. You know? So at the end of the day, him coming out and answering the questions how he did, respect to Graham Potter for that. But now we need to see improvements on the pitch. We need to see Chelsea. We need to see the Chelsea. That's what we need to see. We need to see what you want to do, bro. We want to see what you need to do. And we're going to do that predicted lineup in a second. Over 600 people here as well. Let's just quickly go into the head-to-heads on Chelsea at the moment. Well, the truth is, guys, there is no head-to-head because Dortmund and Chelsea have never played each other in a competitive competition ever. Sorry, Chelsea did play against Borussia Dortmund as a part of an 8-match summer tour of USA. Yeah, but that's just nothing serious. So nothing of real competitors. When it comes to head-to-heads against the German teams in the past for Chelsea, we played 25 games, winning 11, drawing 8, and only losing 6. That is not a bad result. The last 5 games that we've played were a 1-1 draw to, was a 4-1 loss to Bayern Munich, a 1-1 draw with Frankfurt, a 5-0 win against Schalke, a 3-0 win against Schalke, and a 1-1 draw with Bayern Munich. But when you look at our record against German teams, it's not that bad. We're winning more than we're losing. So, you know, and we've drawn a couple as well. Now, our form hasn't been great, but in the Champions League, if you look at the road to where we got to now, it's not been that bad. You know, we've done quite well. So, again, it goes back to what we said about it being a cup competition. Chelsea's Champions League record is a round of 16 in 10 wins and 6 defeats. Last season at the stage, we beat Lille 4-1 on aggregate. Graham Potter is looking to become the first Chelsea manager to go unbeaten in his first 6 Champions League matches since Roberto Di Matteo. If he does that tonight, what a record that would be, right? If the players win, Potter will become the first English manager to win 5 consecutive matches in the competition and the second to win away from home against German opposition in the Champions League. So Potter could set some trends tonight, guys, if he gets the right result. Our top goal scorers is Aubameyang, who's not even here, with 2. Sterling with 2, who is available, we believe. And then 1-1-1-1-1 for some of the other players. Obviously, we know our last 5 results, but Dortmund's is the one that's most interesting because they haven't lost a game since November 2022. This is their run in the last 5 games. They've beaten Bremen, they've beaten Bochum 2-1, they beat Freiburg 5-1, they beat Bayer Leverkusen at their ground 2-0, and they won away against Mainz as well. So they are in some real good form. They're obviously not suffering from injuries, from what we understand as well. Playing well. Sebastian Haller has scored 11 goals in 8 games. We know how dangerous Sebastian Haller has as well since he's come back as well. But in terms of the Champions League, Jude Bellingham is their top goal scorer. Jude Bellingham has 4 goals with Guerrero on 2, and then it's split out with the rest having 1 each as well. So Jude Bellingham, a big, huge threat for Chelsea tonight, driving in from the deep. And this is why it's very important that we make sure we have someone that's playing in there that's going to be able to match them runs and watch them runs from Bellingham. Bellingham's going to be a real big test for Chelsea tonight. A real big test. And it's going to be interesting to see how, how we deal with that. Kovacic, Zakaria, Enzo, whose job is it going to be to mark Jude Bellingham? Now, Mikhailo Mudryk was directly involved in 5 goals in 6 appearances in the Champions League for Shakhtar Donetsk. So he's had a very good record so far for Shakhtar. As we have he's got 3 goals and 2 assists. He seems to like the Champions League. We hope tonight that Mudryk, if he does play, goes on and does that. Chelsea's biggest away wins were against Galatasaray 5-0 and Schalke. In terms of Dortmund, they're what's this about? Most minutes played and stuff. I'm not going to read all that anyway. But we saw yesterday's games. AC Milan, Tottenham finished 1-0 to Milan. PSG and Bayern Munich winning 1-0 in that game. And now tonight is Benfica and Brugge and Chelsea and Dortmund. So it's going to be interesting. I'm looking forward to seeing the idea of how we set up moving forward and stuff. Nearly 700 people here right now. 700 people in the chat. Big up to you guys. We are doing score predictions very soon as well, guys. Just want to make sure none of you have put any super chats in. Before we go into the team predictions, I want to talk to quickly Forward, who's come in with me as well. Forward, how we doing, mate?
I'm doing good, brother, man. How are you doing?
I'm good, mate. How are you feeling about tonight? Are you feeling a little bit excited in the fact that we're actually just pulling away from the Premier League and now it's cup competition? Are you looking forward to the fact it's Champions League and Chelsea as well?
Yeah, I mean, it's always excitement for me when it comes to the Champions League because it's a cup competition. It's a game of importance, a game of consequence, which we haven't really had in the Premier League for quite a while. So it's good in that aspect. Good to get something fresh. Champions League nights are always big. I believe it's actually our first time ever playing Dortmund in the Champions League, so it's exciting to see us play in front of the yellow wall, and obviously experience is going to be quite mad for the fans going out there. So I am excited. And then of course I do remember our form going into this game, and then I start to get a little bit nervous of what could happen. And I mean, just imagine the backlash if we don't get a good result today. It'll be quite toxic. So I'm excited. I'm looking forward to it, and I'm just hoping that the boys and Potter turn up and give us a performance that we need to see from Chelsea in a big competition.
That's the big question, right? And it's going to fall down to the tactical side. It's going to fall down to how we set up. It's going to fall down to Graham Potter and gameplay and game plan and style and these things as well. These are going to be all intricate, important things that we're going to have to see. I mean, Don, welcome, mate. Welcome back.
Yes, bro.
Moving away from the debate show on Graham Potter yesterday, which was quite intriguing, we are now talking about Chelsea in the Champions League. I mean, how are you feeling about it tonight, mate?
Oh, man. Do you know what? I don't know how to feel. I don't know because a few people have asked me, what's your prediction? Like, what do you think? How do you think the game's going to go? But where I haven't really seen a clear style of play recently, it's hard for me to predict how the game's going to go because I'm just not really seeing many patterns at the moment. What I'm happy about though is Cover's back, right, tonight?
And Zakaria.
Yeah, Cover and Zakaria are back, so they're definitely better options than Ruben. I think we're definitely gonna. I think we should be able to do a job. If I get my words out, I think we should be able to do a job in midfield. Now that we're not going to have Loftus-Cheek starting. Again, he played well the other day. He done all right, but and the quality is just not there, as we all know. So yeah, I am a little bit more confident now that we've got Zakaria and Cover back. But I don't know. I don't know how to call the game, man. I think once we go through the lineup and we look at our options, then I'll be able to clearly say, right, okay, this is what I think is going to happen today. But I haven't really thought about the team that I'm going to put out there, I'll be honest. So I thought, yeah, it'll be a good time to do it in the stream today.
100%.
I don't know how to feel. I don't know how to feel, seriously.
So we got this super chat from Christian. Big up to Christian for the donation as always. He says, hi, mate. I'm going for a 2-1 win for Chelsea. I hope so too, brother. We need a win. I'm fed up of coming on here and complaining and moaning about Chelsea and the way we play and not seeing anything. And I hope today is a day where we can actually, or tomorrow's a day, shall I say, today and tomorrow when we do the match reaction, that we can sit together and actually discuss some good results. 750 people here as well, nearly 1,000 people here. Big up to every single one of you guys are here. But do me a favor, smash the likes, guys. Let's see how quickly we can get up to 200 likes on here. I know in Chelsea Fan TV we've not got enough, guys. Come on, we've only got 140 likes. There's nearly 600 people there. So come on, let's get these likes up to 300 likes is the challenge there, guys. So see how quickly we can do that. And on GNA TV as well, let's get this over 100 likes, guys. Nearly 150 people were there as well for that one. Couch Critic is in the building as well. I mean, Couch, before we get into team lineups, how are you feeling about today? It's cup competition, it's Chelsea, it's Champions League. Is it exciting?
Yeah, it's always exciting when you're in the Champions League. When you're thinking about how we're going to perform right now, I feel the same way Don does. Like, it's just so hard to tell. Like, you just don't know what Chelsea team's going to show up. But at the same time, my worry right now is leadership on the pitch. Like, I don't think that people understand how important Jorginho was in that regard, to just leading us on the pitch and giving us some sort of right. Like in the Champions League, that guy was a completely different animal to that in the EPL, and I think we're going to be missing that sort of leadership on the pitch today. Hopefully, guys like Reece James, Thiago Silva can step up in that department, but you really need it in the midfield, and I just don't see where we have that right now. So. We're just gonna have to see what happens. Hopefully, some new leaders can emerge, but I am cautiously optimistic about what we can do today, just because we do have the weapons.
Yeah, I think I'd feel a little bit more confident. As much as I haven't really seen much in terms of style of play, I think I would be a little bit more confident if we had this game at Stamford Bridge. But where we're playing away, and the Dortmund, the run that they've been on recently as well, it's just so hard to call. Like, I don't want to, with predictions, I hate just giving blind predictions. I like to actually analyze things and how the games have been going and then give my opinion on it. But how things have been going right now, we do have the firepower. So if it clicks today, I've got a strong feeling, like Christian said earlier in the super chat, I'm going for 2-1 if it does click, because I think we're going to outscore them.
Yeah, we'll get to match predictions later.
We haven't done that yet. Oh, okay.
Yeah. All right. We'll come to that a bit later. We're going to do team lineups anyway to start with, and then on top of that, I think we need to also be aware of Dortmund's form at the moment, because November is the last time they lost a game. You've seen their recent form as well. They're playing well as well. They're all confident. Jude Bellingham's top goal scorer for them in the Champions League with 4 goals as well. So, there's a lot that we need to be careful of and set up right with. No Badiashile, in the team, which means Koulibaly and Chalobah will get an opportunity tonight. So let's start with this team lineup, guys. We'll go through it quickly together. We'll open the lines up for you guys as well, so you can come in once we've done this. Goalie, guys. I mean, we'll start with forward. I mean, it's only one goalie, isn't there? There's not really a discussion, so I might as well just say Kepa, right?
Yeah, just Kepa and keep it moving, because I'm not a big fan of his, but
yeah,
it is what it is.
Yeah, all right. So let's just move. I'm not going to ask the other two because we've got no choice. It's Kepa anyway, so we move.
Yeah.
Let's talk about. Let's start from left to right. Obviously, Cucurella has not been in great form. We know Ben Chilwell has been playing, but he's been limited in minutes due to his fitness. Is this the game tonight that we see Ben Chilwell come in, or do we feel that it might be? Number one, do we think it'll be a 4 at the back, or are we going with 3 at the back? Like, that's the other thing.
I believe it'll be 4 at the back. I think for sure it'll be 4 at the back. And I think 100% it has to be Chilwell starting today. Again, and you look at who's available today. Obviously, Badiashile is not available, so we're going to be missing a bit of his height. Whether it's Chalobah or even Koulibaly who come in, they haven't been as dominant in the year from how they played this season compared to Badiashile. So we're definitely going to be wanting to offset that height loss there and that physicality in the year with Chilwell, who is quite good in the year compared to Cucurella, who's not really been at his best form, but I think physically is kind of struggling this season. Now, I do remember hearing stories that he, I believe, had tonsillitis earlier in the season and had it quite severely. So he lost about like 5 or 6 kg in weight, and somebody's quite slight like him, that is quite a lot of weight to lose. So maybe that explains why he's not been as posing this season, because he was quite like good at getting around and like making tackles and whatnot last season. So
You got really quiet forward.
yeah,
No, your mic's gone really quiet. Yeah.
Can you guys still hear me?
Yeah, that's better. Yeah, I don't know what happened. It sounded like you disappeared.
So I had a call coming. So
Yeah.
no, I had a call coming. So but yeah, no, yeah, definitely Chilwell's got a start. I feel like just as well, on top of everything that I said about physicality, I feel like he offers more driving runs on and off the ball. And again,
Yeah.
Chilwell at his best. Some of Chelsea's best performances the last couple of seasons. So he could definitely start today.
Yeah.
Ford's in demand right now, man.
I know his phone keeps going. I think he's
What's
in
going
demand.
on, man?
Let's go to Simon John.
Listen, I'm a busy man, man. I'm a busy man.
Are we agreeing with
Give me a sec.
Chilwell?
Give me 2 seconds.
Yeah. No, I agree
Yeah,
with
yeah.
Chilwell 100%. I think now he's ready to start. He's been back now the past 2 games, right? So if you're not going to bed him in now, when are you going to put him in? This is a big game. We need to get.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure about that. I'm not sure about that, to be honest. I'm not sure about that.
Couch. Yeah.
Go on,
I mean, Koulibaly's coming back into the side. You just need a settled side, right? Defense is going to be very important.
So what's
keeping them out. And Koulibaly's probably more than likely going to be playing left-sided center back. And then you're going to put Chilwell, who hasn't played there in a while either. I'm not quite certain that Chilwell will start. I'd like to see Chilwell start. Yeah, he's been playing more. He understands the role tactically a little bit more.
Playing more. His performances have been shit.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we could definitely argue back and forth about whether or not Cucurella has been shit or not. Like, obviously, I haven't been that impressed with his performance, but in terms of like keeping clean sheets, in terms of being a guy that understands the role, coming in inverted and coming inside and like making up that back three that we saw Cucurella do the last couple of games, that back three, not advancing forward, not trying to bomb on. I can see Cucurella playing again. We have to be defensively solid. You know, it's not about just like.
Are we hold on? Are we going with the lineup that we think Potter's going to pick, or are we going with the lineup that we would pick?
Again,
I'm telling you, the lineup I think Potter's going to pick is likely going to be Cucurella. I think
he gets dropped. I think he gets dropped.
I'm going to give my opinion. I think Chilwell will start tonight. I think after what I saw at West Ham and how it all went and whatever, and him being taken, I think the plan will be for Chilwell to start tonight. And Cucurella may come on at some point. I don't think Chilwell will play the whole game, but I do think he's going to get dropped tonight. Lee,
Couch, you said about Cucurella's been playing. I understand that point, and you said he understands the tactics more, but I would disagree that he doesn't, because he's been getting instructions clearly, and he just doesn't know how to implement it. Whether that's confidence or, again, he's lost a bit of ability because of what's been going on in terms of his physical health. But for now, when we saw Chilwell come on the other day against West Ham, you could see a clear difference. Like you could see a clear difference.
We were more attacking. We were more attacking.
My only worry with Chilwell is his fitness and what we're going to get from that, because what I have seen him come back from injuries, and I'm talking about before he got injured recently, not recently, but a little while ago, and he was not at it as well. And we had a bit of a problem because he wasn't at it. He looked really slow and lethargic. And then Cucurella wasn't at it, especially at the Villa away game. They were both really poor together on the pitch. So I'm hoping that Chilwell is a little bit more sharper than he was from what I've seen. But if he is, I think it'll be better, especially if we're playing Mudryk off the left. I think Chilwell is better going forward.
You guys are you're speaking very, very candidly about like how we looked attacking wise with Chilwell, and I agree with you. I just don't know if this is the game to unleash the attacking potency that we can have. I think that this is a game to be a little bit more solid defensively. And if you look at some of the tactical deployment that we've been using as the left-sided, the fullback, they've basically been using Cucurella as a back three center back when we attacking. So we defend with three, and then we attack with the rest. And I think that might be continued here.
But Couch, like we've established already, Cucurella's been used as he's been a weakness in our back line, right? And it's been targeted by numerous teams now. Dortmund would be laughing. They'll be laughing if Cucurella starts, because he's definitely going to be one that they'll look to target. With Chilwell, again, there's reservations about him defensively, but I'm sure that they haven't really thought about how to set up against him more than Cucurella, because they haven't seen much of Chilwell this season. So I don't want to start Cucurella, man. He's going to get targeted again. It'll be the same
it's not about what I want. It's just what I think will happen. I think that we're going to be thinking about our shape, and we're going to be thinking about how we've been playing.
Is there a chance for Lewis Hall, guys? I know we're going back and forwards about Cucurella and Chilwell. Is there a chance?
Not in a game like this. This is like Champions League knockouts, man.
For Lewis Hall, no, he's not getting a chance. But even though I'm saying this, is what I'll do, I still think Potter's going to drop Cucurella tonight. I just don't see him starting.
I've got a feeling as well. I don't know why I've got a feeling. Hi, mate. I can see a 1-0 win tonight. The German league is very different to a competitive Premier League, is what Lee Jervis says. Big up to you. Thank you for the donation, bro, as well. Appreciate that. Yeah, I hear that. I think it is completely different. This is why it may work in our favour. It may not. We'll see. But I do think Chilwell will start tonight. I don't know why. I've just got to. I get what Couch is saying. I really do. I do worry with both of them playing more because with Cucurella, just because of what I saw at West Ham, it just worried me a bit in that instance. But in terms of Chilwell, it's just about his fitness. So
listen, bring me Davis, so we ain't got to think of these predicaments, man. I mean? Bring me Davis, Couch, man.
Don't know, man. Trust me, proper Canadian there, man.
Proper.
Let's talk about the centre backs. Obviously, one of them is going to be Thiago Silva, so I'm going to put him in. But the question is Thiago Silva playing on the left, which means Chalobah will play on the right? Or will Silva be playing on the right, which means Koulibaly will be playing on the left? That's the big question I've got for you guys.
Is Fofana not fit? Is Wesley Fofana not fit? Or
yeah, he's not
going to start this game.
He's not playing this game. I'm not even going to entertain. For forward, let's start with forward if he's there. Forward.
Yeah. Again, hopefully I don't get another call from work, but yeah, no. I think for sure it's going to be Thiago Silva and Chalobah. At least that's what I would do. I feel like for me, like, chemistry is important across the pitch, but especially in the back too, like having strong chemistry between the two is vital to any strong defense. And I feel like with Koulibaly and Silva, while they've both been good leaders in their careers, like wherever they've been, whether it's been Napoli, AC Milan, PSG, or in Koulibaly for his country at Senegal, like I feel like they've always been great as like the alpha in the back line. But together, I just don't feel that they've got great chemistry. And whilst those performances have been good when they've been together, I just feel like Koulibaly doesn't respond as well to being sort of like next to another centre back who's more of the senior centre back alongside them. And I feel like Silva in general feels more comfortable when he's got somebody like a Badiashile or a Chalobah that he can defer to, and they listen 100% to his calls. They respond to him in game. They're able to cover him with runners in behind him, etc. And I just don't feel like Koulibaly and Silva, while being two good centre backs in their own right, I just don't feel like they have that same synergy. So for me, I feel like you have to start Chalobah in a game like this. Again, alongside with Chilwell and obviously Reece James, I feel like that back four has the right amount of athleticism and synergy as a back four as well to play together and be strong against what is going to be a pretty formidable Dortmund attack.
I wouldn't be shocked, Shano, if it was a back three tonight. I wouldn't. I know, like it wouldn't. And I mean, if we did do that, I do think Chilwell will play as a wing back, and I think Reece James will play as a wing backs. But and then you might see.
Can I just say on the back three thing, because we didn't talk about the systems much, but if you go to a back three, I would be a bit disappointed. And like, I get it, right? There's games where you maybe need to alter yourself to offset what the opposition are doing, because Dortmund are a pretty good attacking team. But again, we've seen Potter go with a 4-3-3 to start off from post World Cup. And again, I didn't like the 4-3-3 at all, the way that we deployed it with like the 2-8s being so high up, and then the DM, whether it was Jorginho or Enzo in recent games, being left on like an island. And like now we've gone to a 4-2-3-1, and it looked pretty good against West Ham, or at least better than what we've seen recently. But then to go and then change it again immediately to a 3-4-3, like I feel like Potter's said in the past that he values stability in the team and being able to pick the same lineup and the same shape. And obviously injuries have made it hard for him to do that. But now we've got, again, a team that's playing relatively better. We have new players coming in. Stick to one shape. Again, Dortmund are a good team, but we shouldn't have to change to a back three to accommodate them. No, play what is best for our team.
Yeah,
and our best for our team right now is a 4-2-3-1.
I think the problem is with the back three is that you eliminate the idea of having a 10, because then you have two in the midfield, and the three, in my opinion, that play up front have to be quick on the wings, and then you have to have like it's going to be a Havertz and it's someone up front. Do you know what I mean? Like, or a Felix, I don't know, but it eliminates the 10, and then it eliminates it. Then it kind of hinders our creativity from the centre point. Then we're relying on Chilwell and James to be the creators in the team, and you know, I'm not too sure of it. If he does do it, it would not surprise me. I'm going to say we might actually.
It would not surprise me.
What we'll do is we'll do a 4-2-3-1, and then we'll do a 3-4-3, right? But we'll try and speed it up. We'll try and speed it up as well, yeah, guys. Otherwise, we're going to be sitting there all day talking about players. But let's go on to the two. All right, let's go on to Don. Don, what are we saying?
Yeah.
Because you obviously forward said Chalobah and Thiago Silva. So what's your opinion?
Yeah, in a back four, I'll be honest, I don't really trust Chalobah as much as I trust Koulibaly there. I think if this was in the Prem, I would say Chalobah, but where this is Champions League, the pace of the game is naturally going to be a lot slower than the Prem, right? And Koulibaly, he should be able to at least do a job in the Champions League, man. Like, he's not completely rubbed out. I think he's just not adapted to the Premier League and how quick it is. So I think in the Champions League, he should be able to adjust his game a little bit more and you know, be a bit more physical and have a bit more time on the ball to actually think about what he's going to do.
I hear the logic, but if you look at our games this season, Chalobah's been better in the Champions League than Koulibaly. Like Koulibaly had some horrible games against Zagreb, and Chalobah was actually pretty good against AC Milan. Like again, when he had to come on in the first leg against them with Leao, he was running riot that game for a little bit. Like he done well against Leao, and I feel like again for how I think we're going to play today.
Was that in the back four? Was that in the back four that game? I can't remember if we played the back four in that game against AC Milan.
We played the back four, yeah.
Yeah, we played the back four. Okay.
Yeah.
For me, I don't know, man. I feel more comfortable having Koulibaly in a back four. If Chalobah starts, like I'm not gonna complain about it because it's a tight call for me. But I'm just looking at it more in the fact that it's the Champions League and it is a slower pace than the Premier League. So Koulibaly, if he can't do it now, like he's never going to be able to do it, and we should definitely be shifting him in the summer. And the fact that Badiashile sort of come in now, he's going to want to sort of, you know, step up hopefully and improve his performances, because before he was kind of, you know, he was one of the first people on the team sheet pretty much, but now he's kind of seen that competition come in. So I'm just hoping that he steps up, and the fact that it's Champions League football as well, I think that should hopefully, and we should see a better performance from him. But again, if Chalobah starts, I'm not going to complain about that because he's been good this season. But when I'm looking at it in isolation in the back four, I'd rather Koulibaly.
So we got forward that says Chalobah, Thiago Silva. We've got Don that says Thiago Silva, Koulibaly. We go on to Couch. Where are you going with this, mate, with the back four?
First of all, we did play a back three when we played against AC Milan, and Koulibaly was quite good in those games as well. I don't like this. We played a back three, yeah, for sure.
Away.
I just checked it. The 2-0 game.
That makes sense.
I don't know if that...
At home we played a back three for sure. Away,
I thought we played a back four
as well. Actually,
which game are you guys talking about?
The
we
Milan
played
game.
a back three both games. So the first game 3-0. Silva, Fofana, Koulibaly made the back three, and then the 2-0
That's
game.
it. Yeah, that was it.
Chalobah came on at like 30 minutes in that game, though.
Yeah, I forgot.
And then the second game, Chalobah, Silva, and Koulibaly back three.
Yeah. It was. Okay. I forget we have Fofana, and that sounds bad, but I forget.
He didn't play long, but I think that was the formation. But even with that said, it doesn't matter back three, back four. I think back three is viable, just because we have the more healthy bodies. But regardless, if we go back three, back four, I think Koulibaly plays this game. We don't have any left-sided center backs. You know, you're going to take Silva, who is stable on the right, understands his role there. You know, the runs, he understands where the runs are coming from, and you're going to put him on the left, and just to bring in Chalobah, I don't know if that's going to make any sense to me. As much as I agree that Koulibaly hasn't been great, I do believe that like the Champions League offers him an opportunity to find his form. And again, with the slower pace of the game and whatnot, I think you need a more veteran, you know, a guy that's been there and done that, you know, has been in that role his entire career. You need somebody like that there. This is why you paid for a guy like Koulibaly in the summer.
Yeah.
You know, it's not to sit him on the bench in the Champions League. So
we brought him in for
I put my trust in. Yeah, I put my trust in him to come in and play a meaningful role for us, and for me, that's a back pairing for sure.
Yeah, well, for me, I'll be honest with you, I think you can play Silva off the left and play Chalobah on the right. I would prefer to see that, in my opinion. I'd rather have a Silva Chalobah connection. Yeah. But if we're talking, again, we're talking about what Graham Potter's going to do rather than what I want to do. I think Koulibaly will play tonight next to Silva. I do. I think he will play. Yeah, I mean, it depends.
I just think it's repetition, man. Like we have to understand repetition and tendencies. You know, like why would you play Silva on the left where
it's not like he hasn't played there though. He has played.
No, but it's not. It's about again. And then you're going to bring Chilwell back into the side as well. Like that's such a disorganized. But that's so disorganized, man. You're having a guy come back from injury, then you're going to play Silva out of his most comfortable role. Then you're going to bring Chalobah back, who hasn't played for a while. Like that back four looks awful. If you're looking at me, if you're asking me, when
Silva plays for Brazil, he plays next to Marquinhos and he plays on the left.
Yeah, but he doesn't play for Brazil every week, and he doesn't understand the tendencies. Like it's about the tendencies of the players that you're playing with on the pitch, knowing where they're going to be. You don't want to be thinking about that stuff on the pitch.
So I think there's no problem what side Silva. Like my problem is I don't think there's a problem with Silva's on the left or right. In my opinion, I think he can do both. Like it's just that for me, it's who's better next to him. Not really about where Silva plays. I think the point that Couch is trying to make, right? Couch
correct me if I'm wrong, bro, is that he is looking at it right now, and there's a natural left-footed centre-back in our team who should be built to do a job in nights like this in the Champions League, right? And Koulibaly is a natural left centre-back. So, am I right in saying that, Coach? Is that your logic? Like, he's a natural
Yeah, that's
left
part of
centre-back,
it,
so
but it's just
let's not
about
move things around.
familiarity too. Like, why are you going to take somebody out of their natural role and then just to accommodate another player? Like
Another player, yeah, that's right.
That's what I'm
just-
saying. I think he can play both. That's what I'm saying. I don't think it's a case of that.
Where would you rather see him play?
He's played left left side centre back most of his career with David Luiz, PSG for his country, AC Milan as well. Like, so I get what you're saying, Coach, but I feel like Silva can play either side. However, again, if
So why is he not playing that side?
Because again, end of summer,
Koulibaly playing.
He's playing right side now because we brought in a left-footed centre back in Badiashile, so it makes sense to move him across.
But we have
listen again. I don't mind.
I'm not going to argue with you
Koulibaly
guys,
to be
but
honest.
I just don't think that that's a good idea to move somebody out of the role they've been comfortable with within the side that they've been playing in to play him a different position and then bring in another guy that hasn't played and then another guy that hasn't played in a back four in the Champions League knockouts. That's me.
I hear it, but it's only been 3 games that he's moved across. But again, I feel like for somebody of Thiago Silva's experience, it wouldn't be that big of an issue. But again, back to the point of
Thiago Silva was the least of my worries.
Listen,
to be
Koulibaly's
honest.
Koulibaly's got great experience, and he's somebody that should be able to come in and do a job. Like, again, I thought most of the fan base was happy when we signed him. We thought, okay, that's good experience. That's going to replace Rudiger. He can do a job. It's not gone to plan so far, but again, games like today is where he can restore faith in Potter and the fan base if he performs, and he should be able to perform if he comes in. So we'll see.
Let's see. We've got Callie who's joined us as well, but we're going to move on because I'm going to put Reece James in there, right? Because there's no point of even debating that, right? I think he's going to play. Let's talk about the midfield, but we'll start with Callie this time, yeah? Callie, welcome to the show, mate. We're doing a team lineup based on the back 4, and then we're going to do a back 3 because it could be a potential. It could be a back 3 tonight for Chelsea. But
what are you starting with? Big up the panel.
This is how we've started. Well, this is how we've started. We've kind of had a bit of a discussion in the centre backs as forwards wanted Chalobah and Silva. I kind of wanted Chalobah and Silva, but this is based on what we think Potter's going to do, right? So we kind of feel that it'll probably be Koulibaly and Silva in there. But moving forward, the central midfield area is key because obviously we know Kovacic and Zakaria are back in. We know Enzo's there as well. Who would be your 2 if it isn't a 4 in front of the defence?
Fucking hell. Fuck. 2. Enzo got to be one of them. We already know that. So slap Enzo in there. And then I've been hearing a lot of Enzo. Is Kova fit?
Yeah.
It's either got to be Enzo and Kova or Enzo and Zakaria, no?
Yeah, but who would you think who do you think Potter's going to pick?
Knowing Potter? No. I don't see Potter doing an Enzo Kovacic. So put Zakaria in there. I don't see him putting Enzo Kovacic. I just don't.
Yes. Okay, I hear you. Couch. Enzo Zakaria tonight. I mean, Zakaria would say more available than what Kovacic was prior to the West Ham game because Kovacic wasn't available for West Ham. Zakaria was a bit ahead of Kovacic in terms of fitness. So, could it be that Zakaria starts and Kovacic comes on in the second half, or do you think we'll go with Kovacic today? If Couch is not there, we'll go to Don. Don, what do you think?
For me, I would prefer starting Zakaria. I think we need a little bit more balance. We need someone to just sort of hold that position. Let Enzo do what Enzo does. And hopefully we'll start I know we haven't spoken about that 10, but for me, I would go with Zakaria, Enzo. And then once we've got control of the game, that's when I'd probably look to bring Cover on. I just think defensively, putting Cover in there with Enzo, I don't want to see Enzo too deep because he's the one that's going to have to stay back a lot more. I want to see him unleashed. So the best midfielder that's going to let him actually do what Enzo does best, I think, in my opinion, would be Zakaria, just because of his physicality and defensively he's a lot better than Cover. So, yeah, I think once we've got more control of the game, let's say we're winning, 2-0 or 2-1 or something, we're trying to see out the game, and Zakaria, you can see his fitness just isn't there, then maybe bring Cover on. But I think the best partnership for now, this game would definitely be Zakaria and Enzo.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to disagree. Just because he's coming back from injury.
Yeah.
Again, I don't think that you just slap him in the Champions League knockouts.
RLC Couch.
Wait, hold on. I'm confused.
I think
Zakaria came back before Cover.
he's not played a minute since he's not been on the
And,
pitch
and
at
that,
all.
neither is Cover either.
Yeah, I
Guys,
don't have Kova
you-
either.
that
I
means
have,
you're
I
gonna
have
take
Ruben
off
off
That's what
the
I'm
the
saying.
cheek.
So they
Yeah,
both
I
have
know
they,
you,
they
Couch.
both
I
have
know
played.
you, Couch.
So what
Yeah,
would you
I
play
have
Loftus
Ruben
Cheek
in
then?
Yeah,
Nah,
I'd put
nah, nah,
Ruben.
nah, 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 nah. We can't
Okay,
be
I'm
doing
just
that.
telling you what I think he's gonna do. Like, I
Yeah,
think he's
why?
gonna put Ruben in there.
Also, why do we hate Ruben Loftus-Cheek? He's good enough for squad player level. Like, I'm not saying to be a starter, but today he has to do a job.
So wait a sec. What are we saying here? Who said Ruben? Has someone just said Ruben?
Yeah, I said Ruben, and then if you give him about another 50, 60 minutes or something like that, then you bring on either one of Kovac, well, probably Zakaria if I had my choice. I don't think that Enzo and Kovacic make a strong partnership in terms of. I think Kovacic is the deputy to Enzo, if I'm being honest.
See, I think I'm a bit like I want to see it. I want to see Enzo and Kovacic.
I do want to see it, Jeb, but
Jum's
not
here for the
against Royce.
chaos. Jum's here for the chaos.
I want to
against-
see I want to see Zakaria and Enzo. I want to see Kante and Enzo. I want to see.
And you will in time. I just don't know if it's
Yeah.
going to be this game. Like they're just
Okay.
coming back from injury.
So we got what? Sorry, so we got 2 for Zakaria and 1 for Ruben. So I don't know why I put Ruben in, but anyway, go to
Put
forward.
Ruben back in there, man. You watch, man. He played
Forward,
well, man.
Forward, what do you think? Is it going to be Zakaria or Ruben or Kovacic?
Yeah, this is really the big question of the lineup today. I mean, again, it comes down to like, so if we're talking about just between Kovacic and Zakaria, like again, both coming back at a similar time, both not fully fit, both have injury problems as well. So we would definitely not want to risk playing them for more than 70 minutes. But it really comes down to how Potter's game plan is going to be. Because if you want to be more ball dominant, you want to like really press up high and then anticipate like controlling a lot of the game with the ball, then you start Kovacic and Enzo. And those are 2 ball dominant players who will be happy to receive in tight areas, play through the press, because we know they're going to come with a very serious press with the likes of Bellingham and Chan in their midfield. So that's one way of playing it. But if you want to play more on a counter attack, you're happy to be playing more direct, which then means you're going to be fighting for more second balls and third balls, then you want Zakaria in your team because he's our best ball winning midfielder with Kante out. So again, it really depends how Potter's game plan is. But again, I feel like unlike a lot of the fan base, which I don't really understand why, I feel like a lot of fan base really diss this guy, but Ruben is very criminally underrated in this fan base. I don't really get why the criticism is there for him.
Same.
Again, when you look at a lot of the 4th or 5th choice DMs or centre mids for our rivals, look at them. Like again, if I compare the list of them right now for you guys, it's the likes of McTominay, Lokonga, who just went out on loan, so now it's Elneny. Who was Tottenham got? What? Flipping Oliver Skip. Like who are these guys compared to Ruben? Those are all dead players. And again, I'm not saying Ruben's a world beater, but for a 4th or 5th choice
He's just
player,
a
he's
squad
done a
player,
pretty good job this season. Like he's a good squad player to have for sure.
That is it.
And I feel like he had a good game against West Ham. Again, coming back from an injury, we know that Ruben's quite a passive player when he comes back from his injuries because he's had a lot of injuries to deal with. And I think in a game like this, obviously his height would be good because again, Dortmund are they got quite a few tall players. Again, the likes of Schlotterbeck, Sule, Haller's going to be back today, which is going to be a big threat against our back 4. So I wouldn't mind Ruben going in. Again, I'm a bit indifferent, and it really depends on how Potter's game plan is going to be. But again, based off the fact that Kovacic and Zakaria are injury prone and coming back from injuries, and Ruben's the one who's had minutes coming back from an injury, I would probably start Enzo and Ruben again. Give him 60 minutes, and then depending on how the game's going, then you bring on Zakaria to maybe solidify it, or Kovacic to maybe try and get a foothold in the game. And
Yeah,
I agree that, but I was going off of the question of between Zakaria and Cover. I think Loftus-Cheek, I think he can do he's competent enough to do a job in there. Like I don't get the hate that he gets from the fan base, because when he steps in, he just does what Ruben does, right? We know he hasn't got the end quality, right? But he's good enough to do a job in there, right? So, and he played like I said, he played all right against West Ham. But if Zakaria can start the game, he's fit enough to start the game, I would rather play him with Enzo. That's something that I want to see.
I think,
but
I think he's quite wasteful deep. I watched him against West Ham, and there was moments where he got the ball deep and he didn't want to receive it there, and he kind of panics, and he can sometimes just lack the concentration to give the ball away in that specific moment, which then gets us in a bit of trouble. That's the only thing with me sometimes. Like, I don't have a problem with Ruben. I don't mind him as a squad player. I'm just very iffy when it comes to playing him in specific games. And tonight's game is one of them games I'm just not sure is a Ruben game tonight.
Can you imagine he plays Gallagher?
Yeah.
Wow.
No, if he plays Gallagher,
that's a real option, you know. That's a
If he
real
plays
option.
Gallagher, I'm going to switch.
It is a real option.
I would go with Kovacic, in my opinion. I know it sounds quite. I want to see Enzo and Kovacic together in the midfield at some point, right? But I don't think he will go with him. I think he's going to end up going with Zakaria tonight. Or it'll probably be
The thing
Zakaria
with
or
Cover,
Ruben.
like the thing is with Cover, since the World Cup for Chelsea, he's been poor, man. He's been
atrocious.
poor. So I just
Atrocious.
don't trust. I just don't trust him playing in a game like this, especially when he's come back from injury as well.
We'll stick to Ruben. I just think it's going to be Ruben or Zakaria, but I would go with Kovacic. If you ask me specifically, I'd go, and they were fit and they were ready to go. I'd go with Kovacic Enzo, but that's because I want to see it more than anything. It could go to a disaster, but I want to see it. Let's move forward. Sterling's back, right? He's back in the team. I think. What? No,
No, he didn't travel.
I thought Potter said he travelled. No. Okay, my bad.
You know what that means. You know what that means, guys.
Okay,
you know exactly what that means.
Let's talk about the left. Will Mudryk start, or would it be someone else starting off left?
I don't know. I mean, this is the match that you think that he's. It's like a match made in heaven, like Champions League. This is when he's been shining, but I don't know. I'm not gonna. I don't want to be the one to say yes or no on that, but.
No,
I'm going to tell you guys right now, there's no way that Mason Mount doesn't play this game. I'm just going to say that.
I think Mason Mount plays tonight. That's the thing. But I don't play him off the left. I think he's going to play off the right. And I think I'll tell you what I think it's going to be. I think it's going to be Mount on the right, João Felix, Mudryk, and Havertz. That's what
More than likely that.
That's what I think it's going to be. I've just got this weird feeling Mount's going to start tonight. I mean, forward. Let's go to you first. Front three. Let's do the front three. I mean, is it Havertz up front anyway? Should I just put Havertz up front because it's going to be Havertz?
I don't have a striker. He's the only.
I mean, that's literally the point. There's literally nobody else. Again, I'm not a big fan of Oberaiba, but the fact that he's not even on the list doesn't make sense when there's only Havertz available. So if he's injured for the rest of the tournament, let's say, like we're stuck with Sterling false nine or Felix false nine. So strange, but yeah, it's got to be Havertz up front, and hopefully maybe he's back in his home country. He decides to perform. That would be great.
It should score there, isn't it? Jesus,
we'll see. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
But,
as for the left, again, I'm really big on game plans, and I feel like we've just not used Mudryk to the best of his abilities yet. I feel like when he's got on the ball, we've seen positive things. I feel like we've seen what he can do. You can also see he's a bit raw as well. Hey, Habibi, no. Habibi is not for today. No. Leave Ziyech.
It could go with Habibi and Mudryk and Felix.
No. I ain't trying to see that. I'm sorry.
So go on, tell us your three.
Listen, I feel like Dortmund's biggest weakness is their right back area. I feel like they started wolfing a couple of their recent games, and he's a decent athlete, but I just feel like defensively, he's just not a natural defender. And if you put Mudryk against him in 1v1s, he will get at him and he will rip him up. And that's what I want to see. So Mudryk off the left, obviously Felix in the 10, and then obviously on the right, it is between really, obviously Sterling's not there, so it is between Mount and Habibi. And listen, he just had some decent-ish games recently, but then the Fulham game was awful. And yeah, I'm just not. And then also even the West Ham cameo was not impressive to me at all. It was quite poor. So I'd start Mount there, and that would be like our defensive kind of insurance for playing it away in a European game. I feel like Mount will track back well. I also think, while I said the right back here was the weakest in Wolf, I think maybe their most important creative player is Guerrero. I think Guerrero in recent weeks has been amazing for them in terms of like dribbling the ball out from the back, creating overloads in the midfield, and like even scoring some goals as well. So I feel like we're going to need Mount to use his energy to match him up and down the pitch. So yeah, I think that will be my front four for the game.
Don, what are we saying, mate? Do we think Mount gets in? Do we think Madueke? Is Madueke there? Is he available?
Nah, he didn't get picked. He's not in the Champions League. He didn't make the list.
All right, so Mount or Ziyech. What are you saying?
Guys, I'm in the office today, so I've got to get back to work after this year. So just one last point here. Ziyech, look, I would rather start Ziyech. I'll be honest with you, because Mount, I get what you're saying forward, right, in terms of working hard defensively, but let's not act like we haven't seen Ziyech do it for Morocco, right? This guy is capable of doing a job on that right hand side. It's just he doesn't. It's like he doesn't want to do it for Chelsea. He's got to step up, because when it comes to situations where he can be creative or give a final ball, I think he can pull something off a lot more than Mason Mount, because Mason Mount's been wasting a lot of chances. And I'm not talking about difficult chances. He just doesn't know how to play a simple forward pass. So as much as defensively he's better than Ziyech, I just don't trust him offensively, where we get into positions where we can score or he can pass or he can shoot. he's going to play it sideways. He's going to miss the pass. He's going to miss the run that we've been seeing. At least Ziyech, as much as he's not quick on that wing, I don't think he's a natural winger for me. I think he's more of a central, I would say more of a 10, even if you want to put him in that position. But at least when it comes to that final ball, he's got more quality than Mason. So I think as long as he does a job defensively to an extent, not as much as Mason, because defensively he's not as good as Mason, I just think in that final third, Ziyech can give us a lot more quality than Mason. So for me, as much as I don't want Ziyech or Mason to start, I think Ziyech would be the better option. And again, if it's not working defensively, just take him off at half time. That's what I would do. Be more ruthless with the decision making in terms of the subs and bringing people on, taking them off, etc. So for me, I would bring him on just because I think in that final third he offers a lot more quality than Mount, and we can't be wasting chances. This is the Champions League. We cannot be wasting chances.
Because you got to shoot. Give us your score prediction quickly as well, because I know you're going to go.
I'm going to say 2-1 because I just don't see us not conceding. We're playing away, so I don't see us not conceding. I will be listening into you guys, but I've got to get back. I'm in the office, so
no worries, bro.
Big up, Don.
No worries, man. In a bit, boys. Cool.
Couch, what we saying? Ziyech, Mount. Well, I mean, if you're
gonna ask me what I want to do, I tell you play Ziyech, but I don't think that we're trying to put together Potter's lineup, right? And I can't see a world where he leaves Mount out against West Ham, London derby, and then leaves him out again the knockout stage of the Champions League. I mean, I just can't see it, so I'm not gonna try and imagine that right now. I think Mount plays either from the left or from the right. I think Felix has solidified his role as the number 10 in my position. In my opinion, I don't think that you can drop him at this point. So it's Mount either on the left or on the right. It's just a question of who comes in. And then to be honest with you, like one of the things I had a problem with the West Ham game is just like he left nothing on the bench to change the game. And, in a Champions League game, I think Ziyech can offer something off the bench. I think he can. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see, but I'm of the opinion that Mason Mount is going to start on the right.
Interesting. The more I'm looking at this now, I'm going to tell you what I think in a second. Let's go to Callie first. Callie, what you saying?
I'll go from the two perspectives. If it's based on Potter's going to start Mount, so I don't even know why we're sitting here doing that. My only problem with it is, like, we already know, and this is respectfully to Mount. Mount is shit on the wings. Why are we putting Mount on the wings? Like, he's probably going to start Mount. I don't agree with him being on the wings, but if you're going to start him, he goes on the wing.
There you go.
Ew.
Oh, that's even worse.
Ew.
There you go.
Where else are you going to put Mount? Next to Enzo? You're going to put him in the 2?
I'll put him in the 3.
Oh my! Get him out the 10. Nah, stop. Listen, he can't play in the 10. If you're going to do 3 men midfield, then Mount gets in the midfield, obviously. Other than that, no.
Well, this is the thing, right? I think I've been sitting here thinking about this, and the more and more I've looked at this and thought about what we have available, I think there's a good chance that we could see a 3-5-2. I've got a feeling now. I've actually sat here and watched this. I think there's a good chance that Mount, like we said, could play as like the help in the middle.
Wait. In what position? In the 8?
Huh?
In the 8 or in the 10?
He will play in the 3-5-2 in that.
3-5-2, 3-5-2.
Yeah, in that position, and then you have Havertz and Felix up front. But then I don't think Mudryk gets in, and I think that's where you will have Chalobah. Right?
I don't have a problem with Mudryk not getting in. I don't mind giving him a cameo, like give him a 30-minute run out.
Could be like that. I do, and the more I think about it now, looking at the 4 to what we have with the 3, I think there's a good chance that we actually might play a 3 tonight. Whether it's a 3-4-3, if we do the 3-4-3, do not be surprised if it's like that. But I actually think Mudryk will play there in the 3-4-3. Right? This is the weird thing. If it's a 3-5-2, I think Mount plays in the 3-4-3. I think
the issue is when you say 3-5-2, 3-4-3, like besides obviously formation shifts, I need to think of Potter's intended style of play, and I can't see Potter implementing a 3-5-2. And I've seen him try a 3-4-3, and it didn't go well. So
But what I'm saying is he might accommodate the 3-5-2 for the midfield battle and throw him Mount in and get him Mount in the team.
no. I hear that. But when have we seen Potter move like that? That's what I'm trying to say. Like, forget all that.
Against Fulham away from home at Craven Cottage, we saw a 3-4-3, and it was Mount.
And it didn't. And we saw all the 3-4-3. That's what I'm saying. And Paulinho mauled us in midfield.
Oh, I agree with that. I'm just saying
Well, we also played 3-4-3 against AC Milan, and Mount played in that game. I don't know, guys. I don't necessarily think. I think we have to start thinking about whether or not Mount is going to play or whether he's not going to play. And I think he's going to play. And it's about finding the shape that it's not about building the team around him, but I think he's going to play.
If he plays,
Jem, can I ask you? So if we go over 4-2-3-1, like, and it's your choice, would you start Mount on the wing or would you start Ziyech?
If I had the choice,
yeah.
Neither.
Fuck me, it's fucking awful, isn't it?
You want to get stabbed or shot, Jem?
The problem here is you're talking about a natural, a player that plays as a natural winger. You know, you're either saying him playing in a position that he can play in, but to what level, or you play a Mount in there who can't really play off the wings, and we've seen it so many times just to get him in the team. If it was my choice, I'd probably play Ziyech.
Wow. That's interesting to me, you know. So like literally everybody else said if it was their choice, they would play Ziyech over Mount there. That's
listen.
Because that doesn't mean I don't like. If you're asking me in terms of how we can utilize the player and getting the best out of him, I think because Ziyech's the natural winger, I think it makes a lot more sense for a player that plays in that position to play in that position. What I don't like and I get fed up with is why we play players out of position and we moan about it all the time. I don't want us to force players to play in positions that they just cannot play. It doesn't benefit us whatsoever. So if you're going to play someone there like Ziyech, who, all right, he's not great on days, but can do a job in other days, I'd rather just take that risk rather than playing someone that's going to be completely non-existent.
I hear it. Let me just explain my rationale, right? Because again, I understand that Ziyech is a natural winger, and again, I also understand that we played Mount a lot on the wings. He's had some good games on the wings, but obviously it's maybe like 40 or 50 in a Chelsea shirt, and most haven't been great, or maybe just meaty at best. But my thing is, again, the last few games that we've seen Ziyech play on the wings for us, I've just not liked how we've utilized him. Like, I feel like a lot of our games goes around him, and his one thing is that he cuts inside and he does a whipped cross to the back post that is up to either a Pulisic or a Modric to go challenge for it against a centre back, and I just don't like that game plan. And I feel like whenever Ziyech starts, we always gravitate around a lot of our possession in the final third towards him, and then he does that same move over and over again. And I just hate that move. And I feel like if we start Mount there, at least with Mount, again, I don't think Mount's the best natural winger, but he will sometimes go to the bar line and try and whip in a low cross, or at least just retain the ball.
Did Ziyech play?
You know, that's the problem. It's the final decision making, and one that's meant to be a creator that we brought to this club to actually do that, and he's not been doing that enough. Is what's the issue, really? Not the one that we're actually asking to play there because he's had, because the one that's actually can't do his job. That's
did he play in AC Milan?
Can't do his job. Like I don't know, man.
Wait. Who was on right wing against AC Milan?
Sterling.
It was Mason Mount. It was a 3-4-3, but it was Mason Mount.
No, Mason Mount was on. Mason Mount was on the right.
Mason Mount was on the left.
It was basically a 3-4.
He got man of the match. He got the man of the match in San Siro at right wing. He got man of the match. He was decent, but he did have a.
But But if you look at that game, and I'm highlighting that game for the wing specifically, I'm being honest. Other than the 15 minutes in West Ham, that is the only time I've seen our team resemble an identity. The wings take off, fullbacks invert. They create triangles in between the midfielders as they push up the field with the press. Then you either swing in a forward pass to your winger again and hit the striker, which we don't have, or since we don't have a striker, you see it often, where we go through the midfield and a lot of the times we try to dribble the ball into the net instead of taking a shot when we get inside. My point is, Mount was on the wing that day, but we all know Mount is not consistent on the wings. I truly believe part of the problem with the players is that they're not understanding the new profile that Potter wishes them to play in their other position. I believe if you ask them to play in their dominant positions, we will get a bit more out of players like Mount, like your Gallaghers, all of these things. Because You guys think it's over? You think they're done?
No,
You
I
think
don't think that's hard. It's not. You play Mount because if you look at the setup right now, the one that we have in front of us, you play Mount because he helps the midfield. He will track back and help the midfield, make that midfield a midfield 3. I don't think you get that same sort of play from Felix. We know that Mount is a depth, and that's usually when we play that 4-3-3. That's usually why Mount is always there, is because he can advance and play the number 10, like it or not, and he also comes back into the midfield and makes that midfield 3. That's the tactical deployment you usually see with Mount in that role. I don't think it's going to be any different if he plays on the right. He'll come back and make that midfield 3 up.
I know that's fair enough, but I think the real big issue with all of this when it comes to Mason Mount is how do you get that form again out of him? Where do we fit him into this system where we can get the Mason Mount back that was decent the first 1 or 2 seasons? How does
Lampard got the best out of him as an 8.
Is that him playing in there? He has to be in here. Does he need to be able to be free and do this? Is it that we do what we said? We play free at the back and we use him as one of the inverted forwards?
Oh no,
I don't know. Look, like I said Ziyech, but to be honest, I'm not sure. Before I think about it, I don't know. Is the answer to it? It's because I don't know. I don't know because I've seen Mount play out there before in the Champions League and it's been okay, but it's also been very awful. Like I'm stuck really with it. You know, I just don't think it brings the best out of him. That's the issue here. I don't think that any of that position really brings the best out of him. When Ziyech,
okay, but even when you're getting the best out of him, is it enough to displace any of the guys that are in that role right now?
When Mount's playing and Mount's on it, I think Mount's quite a good player to have. Yeah, I do.
Yeah, but does he displace anybody else on the side? So say, would you play him when he's on it and he's playing on the left? Would you play him ahead of Mudryk?
I think if Mount continued his form from last season to now, I think he'd be in the team.
Where?
He continues to be played.
Where would you play him?
I think he would slip in there.
Over Felix?
As much as you don't like it, I think he would be in and around here, where he would link with whoever's playing in here. They would be very close. It wouldn't be like
I think what's happened is the players that we brought in play at a higher level than him. I think Mudryk has the capabilities of playing at a much higher level than Mason Mount. And I also think that Felix is a better player than Mason Mount. So it's going to be hard for him to find his best, play him in his best position.
You can't put Felix there. You can't play him like that. The only problem with Felix is that he needs to be there all the time. You know, you can't play him. You've seen him off the left against Fulham, and it was all right. I guess you could use him off the left. I've not seen him play on the right, so I'd probably, if he wasn't playing a 10, I'd say play him off the left, which means Mudryk won't play. And then in that instance, then you have Mason Mount in there. But then who plays off the right? Ziyech. Would we do that? Would we have a Mount there?
Mount is better because again, I get the sense of what Couch is saying that on the left, Mudryk has a higher ceiling of what he can give us today on his best day. Felix is just naturally a better player in the 10, but on the right, we haven't got somebody that can solidify that spot. Like, Madueke's looked decent, but obviously he's cup-tied, effectively. Sterling's not fully fit, and then your only option is either playing like a Gallagher out there or a Ziyech out there. And I don't prefer either of those options. Again, Gallagher and Mount, it's like a square in a round hole, sure, but I thought with Mount, there's more to his game that can help us in a game like this, again, especially against somebody like Guerrero at left back. And I feel like Mount on his day can perform out there. Again, I agree with the fan base that he's not a natural winger, but we have seen him have good games out there. Again, Porto in the Champions League scored a great goal from the wing, from that position. He had plenty of good games in the front three from wider positions as well. So he can do it on his day. And for us, we just have to hope that today is one of those days.
Well, if he plays, then I think it will either be Mount playing in there or he'll be playing there. That's what I think. It's going to be one.
I can't lie though, Jim. Like the more I think about it, though, I actually do see a 3-4-3 as well. Actually, because I feel like Potter is going to want to like offset the fact that we're losing Badiashile, bringing Koulibaly, but then also bringing Chalobah, solidify it a bit, and just try and stay solid. And then maybe then he tries to bring on Mudryk second half or change things up to freshen it up. Because also in midfield we don't really have the right balance yet. Like you have Enzo, who's like a great dictator. Like he's like. Again, Couch made the point that we lost J5's leadership. And I feel like vocally, J5 was a much more of a leader than Enzo in that sense. Like Enzo's still young. But in terms of what you do on the pitch, like he takes a lot of responsibility in terms of picking up the ball from the back line, spraying passes. Like he does a lot of that. And Ruben is quite the opposite in that sense. He's quite a bit more timid, a bit more passive in his game. Like when he decides to drive, he's good at doing that, but he doesn't come to take the ball or really like relieve pressure from the back line in that sense. Zakaria doesn't do the same. He's physical, but he doesn't do the same. Kovacic can do that, but he's been in really poor form recently. So I don't feel like we maybe have the two in midfield to really go at Dortmund the way that we would want to. So that's why he may play a 3 at the back to sort of solidify things.
I think it's going to, yeah. The more and more I look at it, the more and more I'm pulling to a 3-4-3, guys. And I'm thinking about it. I really am. The more we've gone through the 4-2-3-1 and whatever, I think it'll either be a 3-4-3 or a 3-5-2. And I think it will be Mount sitting in that bit at the front with Felix and Havertz as the two.
And again, I don't like the idea of changing our formation for Dortmund, but that said, it is the first leg of a 2-legged game. And there's also no away goal rule this year either, like last year. So we don't need to go out there and feel like we need to get 1 or 2 goals. Like if we get a 0-0 or even let's say like a 1-1 or something, like it's cool. Like we can take it back to the bridge and just beat Dortmund in a one-off game. So
let me ask you this:
with that mindset,
if it was you, would you go over three? If it was a back 3 tonight, would you do the 3-4-3 or a 3-5-2?
I would go 3-4-3 and have Mount and Felix as like 10s behind Havertz. So like narrow 10s behind Havertz.
You do it like that. Okay.
Yeah.
What about you guys?
Yeah, that looks good. The box in the midfield. I love that box midfield. We've been effective in that with Felix, Mount, Fernandes, Ruben Loftus-Cheek, making that box in the midfield. We've seen that with Tuchel as well, being very effective. We just control the midfield. Like Diego Costa in the midfield in that position.
Could you guys imagine a Diego Costa as striker in this team?
It'd be fucking crazy, wouldn't it?
Just imagine Ivan Toney next year, bro.
We need a striker. I can't believe we still don't have a solid striker.
Listen, bro. If Ivan Toney bust case, bro, bring him in the summer and we're back. That's what I'm saying, bro.
So Jem, you're saying 3-4-3 now? Is that the preferred formation for you?
There you go.
Oh, wow.
Ivan Toney.
Beautiful. I don't know if he's going to vary his shape.
Now we're cooking, okay?
There you go, look as well. Look at that.
Beautiful.
Jem, bring up my Abby. Bring up my Abby right now.
You know what? Fuck it. Throw Caicedo in there too, since we're dreaming right now.
There you go, guys.
Jem, bring up my Abby, bro. Bring up my Abby. Listen, yeah. Number 3 is coming real soon, yeah. Hey, just imagine the fan base if after all this put her out talk, like he actually comes and brings them home number 3. Like, just imagine it.
Wow.
It would be wild.
Imagine that.
It would be wild, but I'm not getting that. I'm not getting ahead of myself as yet. I'm just looking at this one game here, and I said like weeks ago, if we could get even just Conte from 2021 back into this side, like some sort of return to form there.
Yeah,
I guarantee you, this team is a dark horse for the Champions League because we do have the weaponry to really hurt teams. But it's pinching on Conte for me.
The thing is, Conte's actually coming back in and around the start of that Champions League. Remember last when we won it with Tuchel, he sort of popped up around the most important part, the knockout stages of the Champions League, and he just came straight in and took off.
Even Thiago Silva was.
Yeah, I don't know if we're gonna go with the 3 at the back just because of familiarity again and repetition, but I could see it just because you want to be solid, man. And, this is probably going to be the toughest, shape for teams to pierce if we play 3 at the back. But
I'm growing to the 3.
It doesn't really give us a lot of attacking potency, I don't think.
It don't. That's the problem here. Again, we're going to rely on Chilwell and James, who are then in their natural, more comfortable in that position. Kante, yeah, nice. Chilwell and James playing in more of a forward. So when you do this right, this sort of system, you'll see that Reece James becomes more of an offensive threat as what he is in the back 4, in my opinion. Because now you'll see him sort of charging forward down the wing, and it's just dependent who's playing in front of him that you then find Reece James on the outside of the box where he can be dangerous. And same with Chilwell. You've got to bear in mind, Chilwell, if Reece James has got the ball, Chilwell's a good player to have in and around the box as a number. He's always like on the driving at the back post trying to get headers in or scoring, and he has the ability to do that. So we can still offensively hurt this Dortmund team if these two are on it from the wings, but they have to be on it, in my opinion, as well to help Felix and Havertz and Mount or whatever.
This game will be open as hell, by the by. This game will be very open. I don't see a cagey affair whatsoever. I see plenty of space in the transition, and whoever is more clinical is going to have a field day.
I don't think that Chelsea play that style. Like if the game becomes destabilized, I think that benefits Chelsea because I think we're a little bit more solid defensively, and I don't think that Graham Potter gives. We just don't play that style of football. We don't play up and down football. We're more control based.
No, I know, but. AC
So
Milan did it, though. At one point in the game, for a good 10, 15 minutes, we were going end to end because in Champions League, sometimes emotions, all of that, everything goes out the window and you start racing to put that first goal in the net. And against AC Milan, we benefited that day. Because remember, that's when we saw the first real sign of Potter putting some type of imprint on the team. We passed up that field like it was nothing.
yeah, I just don't think that that's our style of play. I think that we like to control the game a little bit more. And in the Champions League knockouts, it's not the time for any team to be playing like helter-skelter up and down football. But, stranger things have happened. We'll see.
I have put the link in the chat for people. Obviously, no one's coming through, which is fine. It's still over nearly 800 people chilling here with us. We're going to do
Smash the likes, people.
Smash the likes. I know we haven't got enough likes, as always, but come on, Chelsea Fan TV, let's get this to 300 likes over there, guys. You can easily do that if you can. And GNA TV, let's close the gap to 150 likes there as well, please. How quickly can we get this up to 150 likes? If you've not hit that fun, please do so. Hit the bell, because the bell will notify you when we go live. And on top of all of this, I might, and this is a maybe, I'm thinking about it, do a match reaction after the game tonight. It'll be a late one, though. So I will keep you posted, but as a case I will. It won't be on Chelsea Fan TV, though, because they'll be doing their fan cams. It might just be on my channel, which is GNA TV. So if you guys want to join, please subscribe to my channel, GNA TV, as well. Get involved in that. I'll put the link in the chat as well. So go and subscribe over there. And there'll be a good chance that we will be back later on tonight for it. If not, then it will just be, like I said, we'll probably just go again tomorrow at normal time. But we'll see. We'll see, guys. I'll let you know.
Match predictions.
Yeah, score predictions. Let's do that. I'll let Forward go first. Go on, Forward. What are you saying?
Listen, a lot of our games recently have been quite low scoring. I can see moments where the game can be open, like Kylie said, but ultimately I don't see us like having like a 2-2, 3-3 type game with Dortmund. I think if it does become a high scoring game, I feel like that could be a situation where we concede a goal, and it may even be like we score first, but then we concede, and then given where the confidence of this team is right now, we may just crumble, and then we may concede 2 or 3. I feel like I can see that happening, which would not be a fun sight, because again, people may say Bundesliga tax and all of that, cool, but Dortmund with their manager, they've been playing together for quite a long time. They're in good form, so there's more of that natural chemistry within the team, that natural cohesion, which we haven't yet really been able to find. Because again, the first 20 minutes against West Ham, we actually looked like a top team for just that little period. We looked like it, but then we saw us go back to normal. And I don't know if we're going to be able to extrapolate that little bit of form over large periods of 90 minutes, because that's how you become a top team. Again, we saw Pep in his first season with City. They had patches of really great form, but he didn't have all of his players yet. So there was like maybe like a good 30 minutes, a good 45 minutes, but they weren't able to do it over 90 minutes consistently. So we got like about 150 million spent on fullbacks, and then we went and done a Centurion season, right? So again, we're a long way off of that. So I think it's going to be quite cagey for most of the game. It could be quite low scoring. I'm going to say 1-1. I'm going to say 1-1, which for me is a really good result away from home, and then it leaves it all up to us at Stamford Bridge to go to the quarterfinals.
Oh, okay. A draw. Couch? What are we saying, mate? How you feeling?
Yeah, again, I don't like doing predictions because I don't know what I like doing predictions after I see what the sides are, because I don't know what Potter's going to do. It's going to be very hard to predict. We spent so much time just deciding who the center backs are going to be, for God's sakes, so I don't know. I'm just hoping for a win. My gut is telling me a draw, just because we haven't been in the best form, and Dortmund have been. But it's Champions League, and these are the nights that a lot of these players get up for, and you can make the argument that Champions League football favors Chelsea. It favors the types of players that we have on the pitch. So I'm going to go with my heart. I'm going to say 1-0 Chelsea.
What are you saying, Kelly?
Hold on. Loud as hell out. Let's see. Okay. The heart tells me 3-1 Chelsea. I back Potter. I back the boys. I back the mentality change under the UCL that we usually seem to exhibit in recent years. So I'm going to go ahead and say 3-1. Now, if I'm going with my head, I'm actually going with Forward. It's probably going to be like a 1-1 draw. And God, please, wallahi, inshallah, no 1-0 to Dortmund. Please, I beg. I beg, I can't take the banner today. I really can't. I can't do it today.
Can I ask Cali one question real quick? Like, I get it. Like, your heart wants you to pick Chelsea winning by a good scoreline, but like, I just got to hear, because again, we've watched this Chelsea side the last few months, and we don't score goals. So tell me, where does your heart think these 3 goal scores are going to come from? Like, who's scoring 3 goals for us today?
All right, I'll tell you genuinely like this.
The German generational baller.
Exactly. Don't forget, we have the generational baller Mount. What was it? Cruyff Mount? Is that what this man's calling him? You know what it is. But nah, real talk. I told everyone at the beginning of the season this was going to be a long season, a very long season. If I'm being honest with you, forward, we're losing against Dortmund. We're going out of the Champions League. But I don't want to be the negative Nancy. I want to believe in my team. I want to put my chest out there. People say when you put your chest out there, even though your mind's telling you something else, that results usually go your way. So you know what? I'm backing the team fully. I'm backing Potter fully. And then if they let me down and I come on here and I start ranting, it's not my fault. So that's how I feel.
Well, I'm going. I always back Chelsea. I always back my team, even though my head says something else. My heart has to back it because it is a cup competition. It isn't the Premier League. It is a knockout stage. It is about the team on the day specifically, who turns up. Set up tactically. This that. Yes, I agree with Couch when it comes to Potter. It's very important to know how Potter's going to set us up, and ultimately that could be it. I said at the beginning of the show, he has to get it right. Set up, game plan. How do we break them down? Style. Nullifying them specifically as well. There's a lot that he needs to put together to try and get this to work. But I'm confident, man. I'm going for it. I'm gonna back Chelsea tonight. I am. I think it'll be at 3 at the back. If it isn't, it'll be obviously the 4-2-3-1 as we already go with.
Jem.
I'm gonna go over 2-0.
I could tell you one thing too.
Yeah, 2-0.
If this goes south, and by south I mean we lose by a 2-goal margin or more.
I'm fed up with doing moany shows. I can't, please, not another one of these shows where I'm sitting in. I might as well put myself.
The whole chat, because I said 3-1 and the whole chat's like 3-1.
If I end up having to moan after this game, I'll tell you now straight up what it will be, and we already know what it's going to be. It's going to be how Potter's set us up and how he's react. It's going to be, again, I'm going to be questioning Potter. If we go and he sets us up right and we create chances, but we lose, but we actually play quite well, I would actually kind of take it on the chin and be like, well, at least I saw that we're trying to do something. Do you know what I mean? We know.
Can I just say this in Potter's defense? Because in the Champions League in particular, let's not forget how we started this tournament.
Yeah.
We started with a loss and then a draw. And at that point, everyone was expecting us to just bow out of the Champions League. And he's turned it around. We played some good football in this tournament. Maybe this is something that favors him at this point in time. Maybe he gets up for it as well. Maybe he can get the team up for it. So that's where I'm putting my faith and hope. But it's just going against our form right now. That's the only thing. It's just going against our form to expect.
But form goes out the window when it's cup games. We all know this.
I love it.
Let's just throw it out the window and put positive vibes tonight. Yeah. Hopefully Potter gets it right tactically and gets it going for us as well. Hopefully we get some goals. It wouldn't surprise me if Kai Havertz scores tonight. It's set for him, really.
Wouldn't surprise me either.
In Germany, you know what I mean? Like it would just.
It's about damn time.
Yeah, this is the time. Yeah. Step up now. Do you know what I mean? Yes, definitely. So, but let's see how we play, if we create enough, how the balance of the game goes, how Dortmund turn up, because I think it's going to be a hostile. They've got 80,000+ in the stadium. Yeah. It's a huge stadium.
That yellow wall's no joke. I aspire to go one day.
And big up to all the fans that are out there now as well. And I've seen some of the videos and that. Some of my friends are out there as well, drinking in the town and getting ready for the game, mate. And we just got to get behind them, guys. We just got to be behind them. But let's see what happens, right? Like I said, there might be the potential for a show later tonight. I'm not too sure. Don't hold me against it because you know what I'm like. I might end up being back tomorrow, but we'll see. It depends how the game goes, because if we absolutely play crap, I don't know. I don't know if I'd want to come on here raging. We'll see. We'll see how I feel. But there's the link to my channel. So before you leave, guys, go and subscribe to my channel. We're on the way to 10K subscribers as well. Follow Couch Critic as well. If you write Couch Critic on YouTube, he's got his own YouTube channel as well. It's literally his name there. Go and follow him as well. He does a lot of Chelsea YouTube talk as well. More tactically, he talks more in depth, which is what I like. He gets into it deep. So.
It gets boring at times. You gotta be in it for the long haul.
Yeah, exactly. You know, Forward. You know, you could go and follow Forward on Twitter as well. Literally, it is his name there, as it says there. Forward. I don't know about the chicken though. Is there a chicken at the end of your Forward?
No, that's meant to be like a bird to represent Twitter, the bird up, you know.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
Callie, is that your Twitter as well?
No, Jem. You know I don't give these people my Twitter.
Well,
I'll do it one day. I'll post it in the chat one day. If people really want to talk actual like football discourse and sports and stuff like that, I'm always up for it. But a lot of people on Twitter be trolling, and I don't have time for that.
Yeah. Let's see, guys. I'm looking forward to watching the game tonight and enjoy it. And we'll catch up again very, very soon. And see you in a bit. Up the Chelsea. Let's do this. Let's stay positive and hope for a good result.
Oh, Thiago Silva.